Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and of course, this is where MAGA comes to talk, everyone. And it's the first show of the new year, and we've got a lot to cover. I'm going to get into in just a moment just an incredible comment made by Nick Shirley on the Patrick Bet David podcast yesterday, which we're going to break down and talk about, and we have so much to cover. If you're new, make sure you subscribe because 2026 is the year of winning for President Trump, and I'm going to be covering all the winning here. Patrick Bet David had Nick Shirley in his studio yesterday. I'm going to play just one clip from the interview, and you guys should watch the entire Nick Shirley interview on the Patrick Bet David podcast over on Valuetainment. It was an amazing interview, but I'm only sharing one clip because this is amazing. And Patrick Bet David scored the first interview with Nick Shirley, and it was a really good interview. We got to know Nick Shirley very, very well in that interview. And I have been telling you guys this week that Nick Shirley is the successor to Charlie Kirk. You know, when the Never Trumpers assassinated Charlie Kirk, there's been total and complete chaos going on in so far as the conservative influencer that was going to take over for Charlie Kirk. And there's been infighting by conservative, self-important, narcissistic influencers, young and old. And they've been on display most recently at this Turning Point event, embarrassing themselves. And from Ben Shapiro to Tucker Carlson to Candace Owens and Mark Levin and a whole bunch of them in between, except with two exceptions. And I'm open to some others, but these are two exceptions I want to make very clear. I am not including in these narcissistic, self-important conservative influencers who are destroying President Trump's movement. The exceptions, of course, are Benny Johnson and Jack Posobiec. Jack Posobiec and Benny Johnson are doing great work, and they're not involved in all this pettiness that all these narcissists are involved in. And these self-important conservative influencers who have been fighting like it's the Hunger Games to take over Charlie Kirk's position in the MAGA movement, they all are a lot less influential today than they were before Nick Shirley dropped this massive story out of Minnesota on Friday. And there have been a whole bunch of Nick Shirleys springing up all over the United States, inspired by Nick Shirley, exposing Somali and child care fraud and Medicaid fraud all over the country. And I saw a whole bunch of new videos today on top of the ones that were popping up yesterday and the day before. It's absolutely amazing. And, you know, President Trump did something that everyone thought was impossible. Well, he's done a lot of things, President Trump, that people thought was impossible. But one of them was to win the youth vote. And before Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA did their incredible work, the youth vote was a given vote to the Democrats. The liberals always won it. And Charlie Kirk, through Turning Point, has turned the youth vote into not just Republicans, but MAGA Republicans. And if you go to any Turning Point event, the youth that he's turned into MAGA Republicans, excuse me, are the cool kids, the popular kids, not the dorks walking around in penny loafers and khakis all day. And it's absolutely amazing. And one of the reasons, or several reasons, but one of the major reasons that the Never Trumpers assassinated Charlie Kirk was to stop the great work, incredible work he was doing, converting young voters into MAGA Republican voters. And that void is being filled by Nick Shirley, who is just an amazing person, and he's doing incredible work. So he was on the Patrick Bet David podcast yesterday on Valuetainment, and I'm going to play one clip because this is just a fantastic interview, and you should watch the entire thing. But I want to play this one clip from Nick Shirley because it sums everything up so well. If you're new to my program, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you get podcasts. And if you want to catch the program live in video form where I'm taking live calls, go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. All right, so let's play at this clip. This is Nick Shirley with Patrick Bet-David yesterday.
These people are like, I saw something, someone's calling me like a PDF. They're saying all these crazy allegations. I'm like, hey, what sucks for them is they're never going to be able to get me. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I'm a virgin. I don't have sex with random girls. You're not going to catch me on no sexual allegation charges. I don't have any addictions. I don't have any vices. So what are these people going to get me for? They're done. I'm religious. I believe in God. I'm everything they hate.
I love that.
So what are they going to get me for? They can't get me for anything. Like, they're going to come after me for my personality or for a stunt I did in high school, maybe. That's maybe the best thing they could get me for, is for Nick Shirley being a young, reckless teenager, just like any other YouTube prankster. Go ahead. I don't care. Like, I have nothing to hide. Like, I literally have nothing to hide. So, like, I am going to become their worst enemy, and you're going to start seeing them using the slandering tactics, and it's just going to be comical for me because they can't get anything on me.
And by the way,
the way I've lived my life, and the way I do live my life is a matter-of-fact way. I have my morals. I have my principles. I surround myself with primarily just my family.
Wow, there you go. I mean, is that not amazing? He's a squeaky clean Marine, literally a choir boy. And what are they going to do? Right, I know. They got nothing on him. That's a wonderful thing. And you can see Patrick Bet-David, it did catch you by surprise. You know, you could tell he was surprised there a little bit, Patrick Bet-David. But that was out of the whole interview is look, okay, Patrick Bet-David's laughing, and the reason he's laughing is because he knows that Nick Shirley's got him. There's nothing they can do. They don't have any background. They don't have any old girlfriends. They don't have any sleaze. They don't have some video or photograph of some party where everyone's funneling booze, in high school. You got none of that. He is a squeaky clean Marine. And doesn't get better than that, right? It does not get better than that. Because if you notice, everything they're doing now is one thing and one thing only, right? Well, there's two things. There's two things that the left are doing, but they cross over. One, the major news media, CNN and all of them, are trying to tell you that what he uncovered is not news, that this is old news, that this fraud's been going on and covered by news outlets for years. Okay, well, he made it famous and national. And the other thing they're trying to do is discredit Nick Shirley himself. And that's what they do, right, on the left, the propagandist, the fake news legacy media. They're trying to discredit not him, as opposed to fact-checking the story or going out and investigating the fraud that they all admit is there because they say, well, it's been going on for years. Everybody knows. Yeah. Well, they're trying to discredit Nick Shirley. And then with this drop on Patrick Bet-David, that's just not going to happen.
These people are like, I saw something, someone's calling me like a PDF. They're saying all these crazy allegations. I'm like, hey, what sucks for them is they're never going to be able to get me. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I'm a virgin. I don't have sex with random girls. You're not going to catch me on no sexual allegation charges. I don't have any addictions. I don't have any vices.
Oh, this is awesome.
So what are these people going to get me for? They're done. I'm religious. I believe in God. I'm everything they hate.
I love that.
So what are they going to get me for?
Exactly.
They can't get me for anything. Like, they're going to come after me for my personality or for a stunt I did in high school, maybe. That's maybe the best thing they could get me for, is for Nick Shirley being a young, reckless teenager, just like any other YouTube prankster. Go ahead. I don't care. Like, I have nothing to hide. Like, I literally have nothing to hide. So, like, I am going to become their worst enemy, and you're going to start seeing them using the slandering tactics, and it's just going to be comical for me because they can't get anything on me.
And by the way,
the way I've lived my life, and the way I do live my life is a matter-of-fact way. I have my morals. I have my principles. I surround myself with primarily just my family.
Yeah. Now, one thing you're going to start to see, because, Nick Shirley is Mormon, Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. So you're going to start to hear a lot of people, a lot of fake MAGA, a lot of fake Christians who are going to be calling me or going online trying to discredit him among Christians because he's Mormon. Now, it doesn't change any of his reporting. They are in a panic over this guy. And, he reminds me so much of Trump when Trump came down the escalator, because the Democrats, they just assume because Trump has been rich and famous and was had that New York City Playboy Studio 54 thing going on, that they were going to find all this dirt on him that they could discredit him with. And then what we found out with President Trump was that Playboy Studio 54 image, a lot of that was just branding that he was trying to look, for the Trump organization when he was on the road to becoming a multi-billionaire and real estate tycoon in New York City, that they didn't have any of that going on. He'd been married a couple times, but they didn't have all of this Studio 54 quality scandal that they thought they would have. And believe me, they were searching for it. They were interviewing people. They were going through all the old Village Voices and everything, and they couldn't find anything. And, when I'm telling you guys that Nick Shirley is inspiring young people all over the country, listen to this guy. This is amazing.
Course of the last couple of hours, I think the majority of the fraud is happening in clusters within the same either family members or groups of people or whatever it may be, and it's all happening at it's not very deep, but it's very wide, if that makes sense. So I think that what's happening is it's happening in clusters, and these are clusters of let's say, condos or multifamily homes or whatever it is. And what is happening, and I'm going to find it, by the way.
See, hear this, he's going to find it. So here's a guy, I've never heard of this guy before, but what Nick Shirley has done is turned uncovering Democrat financial fraud around the country. It's kind of like the Ice Bucket Challenge was years ago. He's made it a cool, trending thing to do. It's like there's this whole new era of YouTube coming in. There's these, and among young people, and they're doing it. Like this guy. I mean, I've lost track of how many young guys I've seen that have become young investigative reporters like Nick Shirley, uncovering government Democrat fraud in their area. Like this guy here. I'll play more of it, as he says he's going to find it. It's the new thing that young social media people are working on.
And what's happening is they are all using these single apartments, single condos, or potentially even a single family home if it's really outside of Boston. They're using those as the daycares. That's what's happening.
That's
okay,
right.
And their capacity is not the same as it is in Minnesota. That's just the fact. So I think it's happening at scale with a smaller capacity. But
yeah, now this is the thing. I've seen this. There's a lot of regular single family homes that are somehow getting this daycare money too, like we saw at the Leering Center.
So there's probably more people committing fraud at a smaller scale, if that makes sense.
Makes
so
perfect sense.
You're not going to have one building that is committing $5 million in fraud, but you might have 50 buildings that are committing $1 million in fraud. That is going to be the difference between Massachusetts and a place like Minneapolis, because again, the barrier to entry to open a daycare is very, very low, which provides the barrier to entry for fraud to be very, very, very high. And it's very unfortunate, because who gets stuck with the bill? We do. What these businesses are doing is that they're charging the state basically to subsidize the payments for these kids that are not even showing up there. The parents are saying that the kids are showing up there, and then both the daycare and the parent allegedly are splitting the money.
Wow. You see all these Nick Shirley inspired citizen reporters. See, what we're seeing here is the birth of an entire new form of journalism. Andrew Breitbart, the late, great Andrew Breitbart. There was a very famous little clip of him where he holds up a flip phone and he says, you all have this, you're a citizen journalist now. And Andrew Breitbart's prediction, he's really a futurist, like Arthur C. Clarke and people like that, Robert Heinlein, remember those guys? Andrew Breitbart's vision of the media future was citizen journalism. And he predicted it. And it's been building and people have been talking about it and such. But this Nick Shirley story in Minnesota, the day after Christmas, has begun this amazing wave of Andrew Breitbart's new journalism prediction from many years ago, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, maybe longer, is now coming true. And this is the Democrats' worst nightmare. And on top of it, it's young people. These are young influencers who are doing it, becoming Nick Shirley-like citizen journalists, and they're following on social media, whatever platform they're on, are young people. This is what I mean by Nick Shirley is the new Charlie Kirk. Listen to this guy. This is just will blow you away.
It's literally impossible for everybody to agree on the same topic, but how are there people defending the fake daycare situation right now with the Somalis in Minnesota and now Ohio and probably many other places? How are there people actually defending this, defending the daycares? Oh, they're just attacking Somalis. How is not every American on the same page for once in saying this is crazy? These fake daycares are getting millions. People are like, oh, Nick Shirley pulled up, on a permanently closed location. But then people started to show up to the permanently closed location and saying, oh, we've been in operation for weeks. So like what? Bro. Then he goes there and he says, to another place, and he says, I want to enroll my kid. They say, no, you can't. Bro. Then he said, okay, can I have a business card? No. How are y'all defending these fake daycares getting millions, bro? I really thought that this was going to be the one time that everybody was like together and being like, this is crazy. But I'm seeing many people, one of those guys that's like, let's fact check this or something like that, literally defending the fake daycares. And there's so many different things going on that makes you think that's crazy. Not only the permanently closed location, but him being like, I want to enroll my son. And they're literally like, no, we don't want you to enroll your son. You can't. We don't have a business card. Leave us alone.
So now not only is this another young Nick Shirley inspired influencer, he's young and he's African American. This is amazing. And what's happening here? We've got these young influencers calling out the Democrats. The Democrats just a couple years ago were taking their votes for granted. Here you got it. And what did they try to do, right? Tim Walz and all these others, they're trying to play the race card. Oh, what are you calling out all this fraud for? What are you, a racist? White people do fraud too. What are you calling out this? This is white supremacy. Now here we have a young African-American influencer who, inspired by Nick Shirley, is out there giving commentary on these Democrats that are excusing it. So they can't go their race card route with this guy. Now, if you would like to participate, you're welcome to call in. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phone shortly. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. This is the first show of the new year. It's 2026, the golden age of America, America's 250th birthday. That's right. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com. Do mealtimes feel more stressful than satisfying in your home? You're not alone. Between busy schedules, picky eaters, and rising grocery costs, eating healthy can't feel impossible. That's why Dennis Heikkinen wrote the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook, available on Amazon. This practical, easy-to-use cookbook is packed with over 100 simple, nutritious, kid-approved recipes designed for real families and real life. Every meal is easy to prepare, budget-friendly, and made to help your whole family enjoy enjoy breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks without spending hours in the kitchen. Whether you're a busy parent, a beginner cook, or just trying to build healthier habits at home, the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook gives you the confidence to cook with ease and bring joy back to your life. Order your copy right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook on Amazon. Do you ever wonder what's really in your food? Introducing BiteSight, the AI-powered nutrition app that scans your meals and gives you instant calorie counts, macros, and a full health breakdown. Whether you're trying to lose weight, track your nutrition, or manage diabetes, BiteSight adapts to your personal health goals. Just take a photo and the app does the rest. Even for restaurant meals, you'll get personalized insights, healthy alternatives, meal planning, and AI-created recipes designed for you. Eating smarter has never been this simple. Download BiteSight today at bitesight.ai/get. That's bitesight.ai/get. All right, we're back. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. All right, let's take some calls. The number, if you're watching live, is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Brian.
Hey, Richie the bus driver.
Richie.
What's up? First call of 2026.
Well, I'm glad I am here. I'm going to give you a little background here, and this is what I'm going to say about Nick Shirley here. But I'm going to start off with my friend Dave. I went to elementary school with him, and he played high school basketball in New York City from the Bronx, and that's where I was originally born. And he got a scholarship to Weber State University in Utah, out in Utah. So he went out there on a basketball scholarship, and he literally had his whole life. We actually lost touch with each other, and I found him on Facebook after 40 years, believe it or not. And he's like, we're like brothers now. And he raised a family out in Utah, and he married a Mormon girl.
Oh.
He had four children. Yeah, I mean, this is all part of this. Utah, he says, it's the best thing he ever did. He loves the beaches and the warm weather. He's Jewish, and he literally missed the East Coast and everything like that. He loves to gamble, but he couldn't do any of that. And he said it was the best thing for him and to raise a family in that environment.
That's right.
In that environment, it's like Mayberry.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's
Utah.
like going back.
Yeah.
He said leave it to Beaver time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they're up against. Mormons are affluent. They have money. They come from. They're very well. I can say clannish. They're very clean. They don't do certain things that they're not promiscuous. They believe in marriage between a man and a woman. They're not going to bend, and this is how they are. Utah is probably one of the safest, most actually I think per capita, except for maybe California because of the big tech companies, financially successful. I mean, look at the senators that they have. I mean, you can
if we could get back on topic a little bit here. So basically, we
got
a choir boy with Nick Shirley.
Serving our community.
Right, and it amazes me to see the Democratic Party when he got into those interviews into the commission chambers, and they're twisting and bending, and they're trying. Can you imagine? They can't attack him. Well, they're trying, but it's not successful.
Yep.
But it all comes down to, you know whose fault all this fraud is? Because the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they threw that in there, are trying to end. They know there's fraud all over the country. But it all comes down to the President of the United States knowing and wanting to keep this issue up and funding all these people.
That's
now
right.
They're blaming him for sending the money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't make it up.
No, you can't.
Make it up. They're blaming
No.
President Trump for sending taxpayer dollars and they're supposed, in other words, it's all Trump's fault. Everything. It's the most amazing thing of twisting.
Well, they're not,
what
the media are trying to do, and the Democrats, is one, they're trying to tell you this is old news. And while the fraud's been going on forever and a day, Nick Shirley made it famous.
Right.
Okay, so I'm sorry, whatever reporting they were doing wasn't gaining traction. So they're not going to be able to get away with that. They're trying to tell us that it's racism and white supremacy and all this, that they've got a right to commit child care fraud. It's all. If Tim Walz is so up to his eyeballs in this, if Tim Walz handled it a little differently and showed outrage over this fraud, embraced it, and said, "Help me get to the bottom of this," then he but he's so deep involved in all of this, Tim Walz. He can't even. He's freaking out.
He bragged. He bragged when he was running for president, vice president. He bragged that this was a successful thing. This child care. He was doing this for everybody. He's trying to get more of it in the country.
Mm-hmm.
This is like I told you yesterday. It's laundering money. It's
not laundering, it's stealing. It's stealing. Hey, Richie, I appreciate the call. First call of 2026. Richie's all excited. I get it. I'm excited too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Happy New Year. It's Jocelyn 9 out of California.
Well, thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to do this show. There's been so much going on. I'm watching social media, and people are really upset.
Oh, yes.
And since you are like a person with so much history and knowledge of, as well as the president, can you tell me, do you think that this is basically like the step that Trump wants to do as far as eliminating income tax?
You're talking about the tariffs and everything? You're talking about the tariffs. Yeah, President Trump's, he's talked about, he's mentioned it more than once. What he wants to do is rid the country of the burden of income tax and fund the entire country on tariffs. And this fraud that's being uncovered is after the USAID and Doge. I mean, it shows you it's more than possible, right? Because the Democrats tell us, well, how are you going to run the government without income tax? Tariffs aren't enough. Well, you see how much they're stealing. They're stealing almost all of it.
Yeah, everyone's complaining about the deficit and everything else. To be completely honest, my present feeling is that the deficit is basically previous fraud.
It is. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, the president is making dents in the deficit with the tariffs, but if we cut out if we bring all these fraudsters to justice, right, and stop all this fraud, the debt will take care of itself. I completely agree with you. I think that what I'm thinking is we need to do a Doge audit on our deficit, because who's to say that there's not millions or even billions of dollars being added to it in some you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it's amazing how money has basically been maneuvered around and how the extent of it. I mean, he said tonight that this was just like
the tip of the it was the I mean, he wouldn't. You're talking about the president at the New Year's Eve bash at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, how Minnesota is like basically peanuts. I think his exact words were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I live in a state where our own audit department for the state of California. This isn't a federal agency coming in. This is our own state. Is stating that there are $78 billion.
Well, you know what I'm wondering. You know what I'm wondering. These numbers we're hearing of fraud. It's so much money the human mind can't even comprehend. Right? I would like to know, out of every $1 of tax money the federal government takes in, how much of it goes to fraud? Out of every dollar, what would you guess? 60, 70 cents out of every dollar, easily? Seems that way to me.
If we're paying, in all honesty, because for me, I'm paying 30 to probably 40% in income tax.
Yep.
I would have to say that for me specifically, if I was to guess, I'm paying 45% on my federal income tax. I would say that 30% is probably fraud.
Mm-hmm. So out of your 45%, you're saying out of your 30% you think is fraud of the taxes.
Yeah.
I would think it's higher.
Yeah, because if
fraud and waste.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because if you're estimating that there are 78 billion here, there's 35 billion here, there's there's 50 billion here, and this is over 50 states.
Yeah, that's right. And it's in every state. It's in every state. Wherever Democrats are running things, there's because even in the red states, there's Democrat counties and cities, right? So wherever Democrats are in power, you have these operations going on. And one of the reasons they were strategically moving illegals to certain areas is probably to set up criminal organizations. I bet you the Haitian community of Springfield, Ohio, I bet they've got some racket of federal fraud going up in there too, the Democrats.
It's basically everywhere, and then on top of that, they end up collecting. They end up conglomerating, and then they get their strongholds politically.
Yep.
So then that reinforces their ability to actually, to defraud the government.
That's right.
I'm really, really happy in regards to the steps that our government has been taking because of cutting the funds off immediately, because I do understand that they're going to be having the hearings, but the American people want immediate action, and at least
I know they're called. Tim Walz has been called into a congressional hearing. I want to see Tim Walz called into an FBI interrogation room. Not some hearing where he's going to throw out white supremacy and be congratulated by the Democrats. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. We'll talk again. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Remember, here's the deal. We're always asking about who's going to be the next guy.
Hold on, Mike, while I answer these other lines. Okay, hold on. Yeah, go. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
We're always asking about who's going to be the next guy. Okay? Think about this now. 2008, 2009, 2010, there was a young fellow by the name of James O'Keefe who came in there and did the whole acorn bit and stuff like that. He ends up getting big, and we know what happened with him. And we asked who's going to be the next guy. But the next guy ended up being Charlie Kirk, right?
Yeah.
Now after Charlie Kirk's assassination, and the fights that were taking place by the evildoers like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, and for this, when we were all asking, well, who's going to be the next guy up? Here comes Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is that next guy up.
Yeah, the only thing with Nick Shirley is, because he's doing such great work, I don't want to see him become under the umbrella of one of these things. James O'Keefe's done a lot of great work. Acorn, his first thing, was the best, and that's when he was independent. And then, you get involved in an organization and fundraising and all of that, and you get distracted. Nick Shirley is doing well enough with the way he's operating. This is how he needs to stay. He doesn't need to be working for the Daily Wire or start a new organization like Project Veritas, because that's when people start to lose their, their influence. All right, Mike, hey, I appreciate the call. Good points. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana, Mark.
Hey, Mark, what's up?
What Nick Shirley has started doing is just an awesome thing, because it's something you can't stop, the citizen journalism.
That's correct.
But these people are going to need prayers, because there's going to be a lot of people not happy with them.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure.
And it's getting really interesting, because more of following the money is going to show, how much money does the governor of Minnesota...
Well, but it's up, Pam Bondi's got to start arresting people. There's enough out there. I mean,
true.
She's got to start arresting people. I mean, come on, enough is enough. Cash Patel's got to start arresting people.
But, there's going to be a lot more things coming out. That's going to be really interesting.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But anyway, Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're just tuning in, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, where MAGA comes to talk. Available on all podcast platforms. If you're new, make sure you follow and subscribe. You can find the Brian Craig Show podcast wherever you get podcasts, but if you want to catch it live, go to YouTube and search for the Brian Craig Show. You can catch the program live in video form, where you can see me and see all the audio and video I show, and call in. I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof replacement or repair, Tom Laporta is the guy to call. Okay, he's a good MAGA guy, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. And what does that mean? That means that if you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. I know a guy that I taught you not that long ago, and he had a wet spot on his ceiling. He's like, oh man, I need a whole new roof. He called Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta came over, took a look. No, it was a leak in his air conditioning line. It wasn't a leak in the roof, a leak in the air conditioning line. Wow, that's amazing. Another listener I talked to a while back was with a condo, HOA. They'd gotten several roofers to come out to do an inspection. They had some roof damage, who told them they needed a whole new roof. Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing came out and said, no, you just need a repair. And that's a big old job. Big condo buildings. Whew, that's honesty you don't get in the roofing business outside of Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. That's why he was voted the best roofing company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where I grew up, is Hurricane Alley. There are more roofers in Fort Lauderdale per capita probably than any other city in the world. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, give Tom Laporta a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone, so you could call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com. You know that frustration. You're doing everything right, working harder, spending more time on your marketing. You're hiring good people too, and still you're stuck. What if the real problem isn't what you think it is? Did you know that most high achievers are stuck because they're solving the wrong problem? You can get unstuck. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find on Beyond Blind Blaming, the podcast hosted by Kevin D. St. Clergy. Kevin learned early that when you can't see the real issue, even your best efforts, they'll fail. Now he helps entrepreneurs, leaders, and high achievers uncover the hidden blind spots that are holding them back. Each episode of Beyond Blind Blaming breaks down real business and leadership challenges, profit issues, team problems, scaling struggles, and reveals what's actually getting in the way. On Beyond Blind Blaming, there's no hype, no blame, just actionable clarity. If you're ready to stop solving the wrong problems and start leading with purpose, add Beyond Blind Blaming with host Kevin D. St. Clergy to your podcast playlist right now on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and stop feeling stuck. In demanding careers, confidence is tested every day. But what if how you show up could help you stand stronger? Don't Wear Your Hustle by Osazi Osa Him Run Win blends real frontline social work experiences with practical lessons on resilience, criticism, and professional identity. This isn't just about fashion. It's about presence, confidence, and surviving pressure without losing yourself. Ideal for social workers, frontline professionals, in high-pressure roles, and students. Available now on Amazon. Search Don't Wear Your Hustle today. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Welcome. First show of the new year. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat if you're watching live. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm from North Carolina.
All right, North Carolina.
Yes, I just want to say this, and this is one thing I got to say. You don't go to wars and lose the war and bring your enemies back with you.
Okay, I have no idea what are you referencing? You lost me. That was like a proverb.
I'm talking about. I mean, have you ever heard like Black Hawk Down? You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, but what are you referencing that's going on in the world today? I'm not sure what you're referencing. You just gave me like a proverb, some words of wisdom that are very like out of a fortune cookie. What are you talking about? Is there something going on in the world that you're referencing?
Yeah, like everything that's going around America and stuff like that today. It's like immigrants and stuff like that. It's just
immigrants. You mean like Melania Trump or President Trump's mother? Immigrants? What are you talking about? Where are you calling from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah, you mean immigrants like Melania Trump and President Trump's mother?
No, I ain't talking about like that. I'm talking about like illegal immigrants.
Uh-huh.
I just think, you know what I'm saying.
No, I don't know. Do you know what you're saying?
All right, well, check this out. When Biden got in and stuff like that, and pulled out of the Afghanistan war, and I had friends that fought in that damn war and stuff like that, and one committed suicide when he came back. I mean, what the hell was he fighting for? For them to come over here and then...
Okay. All right, you make some points. Hey, listen, welcome to the program. I'm going to move on, but thanks for the call. We'll talk again sometime, all right?
All right.
All right. Oh, my goodness. All right, now, this is another young influencer. See, Charlie Kirk, man, and Nick Shirley have inspired all these people. Here you got a young girl who is talking about... So many young conservatives we have out there, right? You know, and you go to these Democrat events, you go, I went to the No Kings march that they had locally. I covered that, and I covered Tesla protest that we had, a big Tesla protest. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can see the Tesla protest, and my No Kings march reporting is on my X at Brian Craig Show. But it was a bunch of old people. I mean, really old people. These people have been retired longer than most people have been in the workforce. And we've got this young generation. Here's a young girl out there covering the damages of Gavin Newsom's California raising the minimum wage for fast food workers. And look what she finds.
What happens when the minimum wage goes up? Well, California is getting an experiment in that right now. Just ask Gavin Newsom. California wanted to make sure fast food employees earn their fair share, and that's when 557,000 workers across 30,000 restaurants got an economic reality check. AB 1228 implemented a government-mandated pay raise for all fast food workers from $16.21 to $20 per hour. The bill requires annual wage increases of 3.5% and creates a special fast food council within the government. This council holds the power to set fast food wages until January 1st, 2029, when the council and its authority allegedly end, because government programs always end. And if you're worried about this impacting your favorite restaurant, well, casual dining restaurants, buffets, smaller fast food chains, donut shops, snack shops, grocery stores, concession stands, most delis, restaurants within a grocery establishment, restaurants connected to an airport, hotel, event center, theme park, museum, or gambling establishment, and Panera Bread are all exempt from the law. Apparently, there's this weirdly specific exemption for restaurants that sell bread as a standalone menu item if it weighs at least half a pound after cooling. And Gavin Newsom pushed for that. You see, Gavin Newsom went to high school with Greg Flynn. Greg Flynn owns the Flynn Restaurant Group. They own 2,300 chain restaurants across the U.S., and they're the second largest Panera franchisee in the world. Flynn has donated more than $220,000 to Newsom's campaign since 2017, and $100,000 of that was to defeat the recall. So for some totally unknown reason, he really wants this guy in office. When called on this eyebrow-raising exemption, Newsom said the deal is part of the sausage-making process.
I mean, that's part of the sausage-making. That was part of 257, the original bill, and there was part of the negotiation. It's the nature of negotiation.
So maybe he'll exempt meat shops next. After the bill passed, Assemblymember Chris Holden said,
"The rest of the country is watching what's happening in California."
And yeah, that's an understatement. 1 year after implementing the so-called FAST Act, we are finally seeing its effects, and they are exactly what you would expect. Rubio's Coastal Grill closed 48 locations across the state, Mod Pizza closed 5, and Pizza Hut laid off all 1,200 delivery drivers. In total, fast food employment decreased by 2.7%, which cost California 18,000 jobs. How much do you make per hour after being fired? Restaurants replaced employees with digital kiosks, and those who did keep their jobs saw their hours decrease by almost 2 months per year. AB 1228 is such a disaster, even CNN admits it's debatable job numbers. At the same time as Gavin Newsom's California lost fast food jobs, the sector has grown in the rest of the nation. To be fair, though, Newsom is responsible for some exceptional growth. Fast food prices are up more than 13% since the law took effect. So, are Californians finally waking up to the unintended consequences of minimum wage hikes?
Wow. I mean, isn't that an amazing story? And she's an Instagram influencer and a young conservative, one of the cool kids, right? This is the new journalism. Andrew Breitbart's citizen journalism has now become a reality. And this idea that we're going to sit around and respond to the mainstream media, I think those days are over in this new year, 2026. They're not covering any stories. They're completely irrelevant. And we've got young conservatives that are out there covering the real stories, whether it's Nick Shirley or this girl here, and that's it. I mean, these are amazing coverage we're getting here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Texas. What's on your mind?
Hey, first of all, Happy New Year to you, your family, and your listeners.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, I just wanted to say something about I think the guy named is Nick Shirley, the YouTuber.
You know his name. Yeah, please. You know exactly. Everybody knows who Nick Shirley is. Don't pretend. Oh, yeah, what's that guy? Give me a break.
Okay, Brian.
I mean, here you are trying to discount him by you don't even know his name. Give me a break.
I can't remember his last name, Brian. Okay, I'm human.
You said his name. You said Nick Shirley. You said his name.
I think it's Nick Shirley. I thought, okay, it is what it is. Okay.
All right, yes.
What I want, he found all this fraud in Minnesota. And what I want him to do is go around to all the states, Republican and Democrats, and find the fraud. That way, he got more credibility with me. If he only goes to Minnesota, he doesn't go to any other state.
He's one kid who's 23 years old with a YouTube channel. You want him to uncover unless he uncovers all the fraud everywhere. None of the fraud he uncovers is relevant. Are you out of your mind?
Brian, I don't care.
So let me get this straight. When I go down the road and I see a speed trap, and they pull somebody over, they can't pull over everyone. So should they let that person get away because they can't pull over all the other people that are speeding? While they got this.
Brian.
What an idiotic comment you made. Unless he exposes all fraud.
Don't call me an idiot.
You're calling yourself an idiot.
I'm not an idiot, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
you said unless Nick Shirley exposes all fraud everywhere in the United States, none of the fraud he exposes is relevant. That's not even possible. What a stupid comment.
Brian, if he wants to expose all the fraud, go around all the other states, Republican and Democrats, and expose everything.
Oh my
goodness. That way he have more credibility.
Let me tell you, there's nothing Nick Shirley will ever do where you'll call in and says he has credibility. Just like you got President Trump, who's he's cut off illegal importation of drugs off by over 90%, and you and your friends are attacking him for that. There's nothing these people can do that will give you reason to say they have credibility.
Let me please finish, Brian. Drugs need to stop. And if he's doing it the right way, stop hiding.
He is doing it the right way.
Arrest the people. Don't just kill them. Arrest them, bring them to the United States and charge them. I'm tired of you and all y'all craziness. I'm tired of it. Okay. Again, let him do it the right way. If he's doing it the right way and convict them, and stop killing people. You don't know what's on those boats. Just because you think those drugs on those boats.
They do. They have intelligence. Why do you think? Why do you think President Trump? What was that? What was that leader of that country that Trump pardoned that was in with the cartels? What country was he from? I forgot. Guatemala or something. They've got all kinds of intelligence information on the drug cartels from that guy that Trump pardoned and others.
Expose them, Brian. Expose them. Bring them. I call perp walk.
Oh, release all the classified intel. Right. And they'll just move. Get off them. I'm not going to start the year off talking to stupid people saying stupid things. My goodness. Anyone in New York tuned in to the program today? Zohan Mamdani, he's your mayor. Here's Mamdani on the campaign trail.
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction.
Violence is an artificial construction. Violence does not exist.
And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
So what is he telling us? That porch pirates can be porch pirates now? You know, I mean, that is a pretty big crime, porch piracy. It is a big one, and he's your mayor now. He got sworn in on the Holy Quran, and he found this this closed down subway station beneath City Hall, and here he gets sworn in by a woman who's got all this mortgage fraud going on around her, Letitia James. And so they have this image. Letitia James is swearing in Zohan Mamdani, and Zohan Mamdani's wife is holding the Holy Quran to swear him in on. What do all three of these democratic socialists have in common? Right? Letitia James, Zohan Mamdani, and his wife. You know what they all have? They're all multimillionaires. All multimillionaires, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's listen in here. Here's Letitia swearing Mamdani in right after midnight.
Repeat after me. Raise your right hand. I, Zoran Kwame Mamdani.
Oh my goodness.
Zoran Kwame Mamdani.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And the Charter of the City of New York.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
And that I will faithfully discharge.
The duties of.
The duties of.
The office of.
The office of.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
The Mayor of the City of New York.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
There you go. You know, and I want you to just think, you know, how many of you were listening to me back in the, on 9/11? You know, I was on the air when 9/11 happened here in Florida. And if I would have come on the air on September 12th, 2001, that's the day after 9/11 for those that are liberally impaired in the audience. If I would have come on the air on September 12th, 2001, and said to you, right after the stroke of midnight, January 1st, 2025, the mayor of New York will be sworn in, he will be Muslim, and he will be sworn in on the Holy Quran, what would you guys have said to me? You would have said to me, Brian, you are out of your mind. That will never happen. New York would never do this after what they did here. And then he hires as chief counsel a Muslim lawyer who represents Al-Qaeda members. So he's got an Al-Qaeda lawyer who's Muslim, a Muslim mayor sworn in on the Holy Quran. And when we have our 9/11 ceremony this next time around, he'll be the one who's there presiding over it. It's insane. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take a quick break and be back with your calls after this. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? FreeTextFromImage.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try FreeTextFromImage.com. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
In the rugged shadow of Idaho's Sawtooth Mountains, courage isn't just taught, it's earned. And in the book, The Ghost Deer, The Sawtooth Legacy, Book 1, author R.B. Mahler delivers an unforgettable, heart-pounding, values-driven adventure the whole family will love. In The Ghost Deer, meet 13-year-old Tater Thompson, a ranch kid with big dreams, a loyal blue healer named Bandit, and a heart still learning what real courage looks like. When Tater discovers a legendary ghost deer, a massive white buck with a mysterious past, his childhood collides with a challenge far greater than he ever imagined. Faced with bullies, harsh wilderness storms, wild animals, and the dangerous weight of fear, Tater begins a journey to become the kind of young man his family always believed he could be. Along the way, he learns powerful truths about integrity, perseverance, forgiveness, sacrifice, and relying on God, even when doing the right thing feels impossible. The Ghost Deer is filled with life lessons, solid values, strong father and family role models, as well as edge-of-your-seat suspense. The Ghost Deer is the perfect clean adventure for tweens, teens, and anyone who loves classic stories of grit, growth, and of never giving up. Start the Sawtooth Legacy today and order Book 1, The Ghost Deer, available on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Begin the journey, discover the legend, and step into a series that builds character with each page. The Ghost Deer, The Sawtooth Legacy, from author R.B. Mahler. Order your copy right now. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Sadiq Mursal. Brian Craig. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
I'm calling from Miami.
You're calling from Miami?
I'm calling from Miami.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just arrived yesterday. I love Miami. I love America in general, but Miami, yeah, it's beautiful. The weather is nice, and the people.
Yes. Yeah. That is true. Although it's really cold today here in South Florida. It was 40, you know, I'm in South Florida, and it was 44 this morning, so it's kind of cold, but high today of 68.
Oh, I see. South Florida. I'm very close to the international Miami, and my English is not very bad. I never spoke in the show.
No, you're doing fine. So what's on your mind? What'd you call me about?
Oh, you know, my message is from your show to President Trump, Donald John Trump. And Happy New Year to him, and of course, He is the leader, the greatest leader in the world.
That's right. Hey,
I've been
appreciate the
following
call.
him.
Appreciate the call, Miami. Yes, Happy New Year to all, no doubt. If you're on hold, stand by, and if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Listen to this. Young African-American girl.
I'm literally running errands and like moving boxes, and I just had to make this video because I'm looking at the gaslighting that's happening from the left-wing legacy media where they are largely not...
See, is this amazing? You got a young African-American girl, right? Another one of the cool kids, pretty girl, and she's attacking the Democrats. Right? I mean, this is absolutely amazing. See what Nick Shirley has begun here and how he's continuing the great legacy of Charlie Kirk that the Never Trumpers assassinated?
Running errands and like moving boxes, and I just had to make this video because I'm looking at the gaslighting that's happening from the left-wing legacy media where they are largely not reporting on this. And then they're sending like New York Times writers out to say the fraud might be happening. And here's some common things that we're hearing. It's right-wing propaganda. This is an attempt by the right. This is about white supremacy. This is racism. I saw a Black American woman. They pushed her out there to say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about the fraud that's going on here with Somalians nationwide. We need to focus on white people. This is white people. Even Governor Walz was asked about the fraud, which, by the way, he's already on record admitting to the fraud. He's now trying to say he was aware of the fraud and he was trying to help. But then you have left-wing media at the same time saying there is no fraud, or there may be fraud, or that it's fake news, that it's propaganda. So which is it? Is Walz apologizing for the failure because of something that never...
I mean, this is amazing. I remember it wasn't that many years ago, before Trump came down the escalator, to hear a Black conservative criticizing Democrats was like so rare. And we've won over the youth vote in the MAGA movement. We've won over huge chunks of the African American vote. And you've seen the last couple clips I've played, right? People have been red-pilled nationwide. And this fraud is going to be one of the most defining midterm election stories out there. See, that's why we can win the midterms if we have a large voter turnout. We've got the country on our side. The country is on the side of President Trump, and we can win it if we swamp them out at the polls. Vote early and vote in your primaries. Vote in November. Make sure you get your friends and family out to vote. If we have a large voter turnout, we will have the biggest landslide midterm victory, maybe in history, of any party that is in the White House. Really, truly, you can see this trend. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Gino from North Carolina. I'm back again.
No, it's one call per show, Gino. One call per show. It's one call per show. You can call me on another stream, but not again today. All right, one call per show. The rest of you on hold, stand by. I don't have a lot of rules on the program. The calls are screenless and unvetted. Nobody answers the phones. When you call in, I just put you on hold and I take them cold. So I don't know who's on the line until I say you're on the air. What's your name? But you can only call once per show. All right, and look at that. I mean, this fraud issue has been timed perfectly by the Trump administration to start the new year with it. And we very well could see Pam Bondi fired and replaced with Judge Jeanine would be my first pick. But there's enough out there for her to arrest lots of people. Not just the lawfare people that she's done nothing on, but certainly these fraudsters with Tim Walz. And the pregnant Caroline Leavitt was on Fox yesterday talking about this.
Is conducting door-to-door investigations on the ground at potential fraud sites. And they're also, of course, conducting continued deportations of illegal aliens in Minnesota's communities. We're also not afraid to use denaturalization. That's a tool at the president and the Secretary of State's disposal, and it's one this administration has previously used before. I know the health...
You hear that? Denaturalization. So, people, and who are they talking about there, right? Who are they talking about? They're talking about Ilhan Omar. That's right. But they're also talking about the Somalis that have been involved in this hardcore criminal operation that is the largest financial scandal in the history of the United States, greater than any Ponzi scandal that's ever been uncovered. And that's what they're talking about, not going through the regular, court system, but to go through the immigration system and denaturalization and deport. And that's what has to happen. But we need big arrest, Tim Walz level arrest, because if these people aren't arrested, they'll just continue to do it and find other patsies to run their Leering centers. Now, the president had an incredible New Year's celebration at Mar-a-Lago last night. Here he is. Listen.
We're back. We're strong. I didn't think it could happen this fast. It's happening a lot faster than anybody would have thought possible. We have a lot of leaders here, great leaders like Tom Emmer. I watched him on television. He was talking about Somalia today. Where's Tom? He was talking about the Somalian population, and not very nicely. He was not nice. But that's okay. It isn't mine. Where is Tom? He's great. What a great leader he is. We need you in Minnesota.
That's right.
We need you in Minnesota. He's actually a Washington, big, powerful congressman. But you did a great job today, Tom. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it because we want to take back our country. Can you imagine? They stole $18 billion. That's just what we're learning about. That's peanuts. In California is worse. Illinois is worse. And sadly, New York is worse. A lot of other places. So we're going to get to the bottom of all of it. It was a giant scam. Other than that, we're going to have a great New Year. Actually, I view that as a reason for a good New Year because we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get that money back. It's all coming back.
Wow, they're going to get the money back. So they're going to start seizing money back from the Leering centers and everywhere else. We're in a new space, guys, that we've never been in before, and justice will be done. And if that means that Pam Bondi has to be replaced as Attorney General with Judge Jeanine, bring it on. I don't think Judge Jeanine would be wasting time. Do you? If Judge, the thing about Judge Jeanine, it's entirely possible that Judge Jeanine was President Trump's first pick, but he thought it might be hard to get her through the confirmation process, going from Fox News' The Five to the Attorney General. So he appointed her as this U.S. attorney. She's already been confirmed by the Senate for her current post. So if he were to fire Pam Bondi or let her resign and act like she's doing this on her own, and brought in Judge Jeanine, she's already been confirmed by the Senate, so it makes the confirmation much easier since she just recently went through it, and she would most definitely be the best. Now, if you'd like to support all of the content I bring you, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of this episode on whatever platform you are tuned in on, and if you become a Patreon supporter, you get a lot of benefits for your support of the program. You get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes in video form. That is exclusive to Patreon supporters. You get access to exclusive live streams just for Patreon supporters on the Patreon platform itself. And it's just like my live streams on YouTube with the live chat and everything, but it's a no-troll zone and just for Patreon supporters. You also get access to exclusive things that my wife Kathy and I both post to Patreon that we post nowhere else. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen and you get a live on the air thank you shout out on every episode of the podcast. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you for your support. And again, there's a link in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening on or watching. That'll take you directly to my Patreon page, or you can go to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. That's patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. All right. Okay. So, last night, President Trump, this artist came up and painted this amazing painting live of Jesus. And then President Trump became an auctioneer and auctioned it off. This is amazing. Look at this.
Plucks the money out of their wallets, right?
That's the artist next to him.
Anyway, thank you very much. 1 million. 2 million? 2 million. Whoa.
$2 million.
2 million. Wow. You see what I mean? Did I tell you these people? And yet that's peanuts. Anybody, huh? I'll sign it if you'll give more. Okay. Are there any other bids?
Wow.
Other bids? Yes, ma'am. 2 million. 2 million 5. 2 million 5. 5 million. 5 million or 2 million 5? 2 million 5. That's it. That's
5.
Her husband looked at her and said, "What the hell is that all about?" 5 million.
No.
Eddie, but we have
If they can afford 2.5, they can afford 5.
2 million 5. 2 million 5. Anybody upping it? You see what happens here, John? How about that for entertainment? How is that as entertainment? We're going to have great musicians, everything else. But I saw this. She did something for us last night. She created a work of art. It was so incredible. I said, "Could you come and do it again?" Right, John? And she was a hit. Do you notice? I said, "No, let them stand on the floor." They won. Not one person left the floor. You notice that, John, right? He's the one putting on this big shindig tonight. It's going to be amazing tonight. And you're invited to stay with us, Vanessa, okay? All right, we're at 2 million 5. Anybody else? Going once? 2 million 750. Who is it?
2.75 million.
He's got plenty of cash. Vanessa, you don't want to know about some of these guys. 2 million 750. Do I hear 3 million? Do I hear 3 million? It's going to St. Jude's. It's going to the sheriff's office. Sheriff's Department. Huh? Yes, who, what?
And by the way, the Sheriff's Department, St. Jude's is a great charity. My wife and I give to St. Jude's. The Sheriff's Department, see, this is why I played this. I wanted to, and I'll rewind it. We'll play the rest of it. President Trump has a long history of cooperation with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office because he went to them when he found out about Epstein and reported Jeffrey Epstein to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office many, many years ago. That's how the cops got onto Epstein. So all of you Epstein-obsessed liberal lunatics, he was brought to justice by President Trump reporting him to the Palm Beach Sheriffs. And here he is last night at the New Year's Eve celebration in Mar-a-Lago raising money for that same sheriff's office that brought down Epstein with his cooperation years ago.
Do I hear 3 million? It's going to St. Jude's. It's going to the sheriff's office. Sheriff's Department. Huh? Yes, who, what? Yes? Yes? Don't do it if it's too much. Don't do it if we have to see a chapter filing tomorrow morning. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our outstanding Palm Beachers that have filed for chapter did too much. Don't. So we have 2 million. We have 2,750,000. Do we have anything else? Any other bid? I want to thank you. Come on up on the stage. Come on up here.
$2,750,000 he just raised for St. Jude and the Sheriff's Department that he worked with to bring down Jeffrey Epstein. Great work by the president, no doubt about it. That's why they hate this guy, right? He's so good. I mean, you look at Trump, and there's nothing about him that is not that's not good. Oh my goodness! All right, now if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, I got more to share. Don't go anywhere. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com. Are you struggling with unanswered prayers, facing doubt in your faith journey, wondering if God is really listening? There's a transformative truth waiting for you. The groundbreaking new book reveals how God's answers to your prayers, according to His will, is always yes. Not sometimes, not maybe, always. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. From author Gaten Glover Sr. This isn't just theology, this is life-changing. Discover how this perspective can transform your job search with confidence that God's affirmative answer is already unfolding. Strengthen your faith during health crises and personal challenges. Guide your parenting through disappointments with renewed wisdom. Navigate ethical decisions at work with spiritual clarity. Revitalize your Monday mornings and reconnect with your purpose. Whether you're a new believer grappling with faith, a longtime Christian facing spiritual burnout, someone in a season of doubt, a parent, professional, or seeker, you need this fresh lens on God's will. Through biblical narratives, personal stories, and theological insights, explore how God communicates with you, always aiming towards your ultimate good and growth. Find peace, discover purpose, experience God's yes. Available now. God said yes. He never rejects, only directs and redirects. From author Gaten Glover Sr. There's also a study guide that comes with the book that you can download. A transformative guide for your spiritual journey.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act, the workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. On the line, we have Gina. She's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Gina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities. Can you tell me about your experience?
I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He talks in plain language so that you know, because I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be set. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join, too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm set, and I don't have to worry about running out of money.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right?
Exactly.
Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999 and online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name's Brian Craig. Our first show of 2026. Call us on hold standby. You know, I was talking how Nick Shirley has just inspired this generation of his, younger millennials and Gen Z to go out there and do some investigative reporting, and they're doing it. And they're also giving commentary. Listen to this guy. This is amazing.
I just got off work, and it dawned on me that 30% of everything I made today probably went to some stupid scam. Some SNAP fraud, some Somali daycare, some crazy crap. For probably put illegal in a nice hotel today. I don't know what I did.
Yeah, think about that, you know, and that is the mindset where people are. This fraud that is being exposed by Nick Shirley and others and is being discussed so much is making people physically ill about it, because, you know, the American
was an easy choice for us
people are very hard-working people.
Jonah, when you look back
and you know, hard-working people work very hard. They don't mind paying their taxes. You know, they don't mind paying their taxes, but they don't like their money being stolen, and we're being robbed, and we're being told that if you question this thievery of your hard work, that you're a white supremacist, you're a racist or something. And people are not just, they're fed up with that. Now listen to this. Jonah Goldberg, jerk. He's on CNN.
Jonah, when you look back at Doge, all the federal layoffs, economic uncertainty from the tariffs, Justice Department,
Republican establishment guy here.
Which of any of these really kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, so look, I kind of put them all in one big Uber category, and then you can talk about this, break them down in importance, which is that I think Trump took his eye off the ball about what got him elected. Put immigration aside. I think immigration definitely is one of his issues.
Take his biggest issue. If you take out his biggest issue and accomplishment, and you don't include that, if you take out his accomplishments, he's accomplished nothing. If you take away all his accomplishments, what an idiot. Typical Republican establishment loon.
And he's had much more success with it than I would have predicted. But the reason he won those 7 swing states that they constantly talks about, those voters were not all in on the MAGA agenda. They were nostalgic for the economy of 2019, the pre-COVID economy. And they were basically affordability voters for the most part. And Trump then began to talk about retribution and doing all that kind of stuff, and thinking that basically anyone who voted for him was all in on the MAGA agenda. And now we've seen independents, a lot of Hispanic voters, swing wildly back to Democrats, which is why Democrats did so well in the off-year elections. And those are portentous about the midterms.
Now, that's a bunch of wishful thinking here by Jonah Goldberg over on CNN. The Trafalgar poll that I shared with you on yesterday morning's program, President Trump has 50.3% approval across all voters. And go back and watch that show, because I broke it down. They oversampled Democrats. 64.3% of those polled were Democrats, liberals, right? And even in a poll where they oversampled Democrats, right, 64.3% of those polled were liberal Democrats, President Trump still had over 50%. So this idea that people are fed up or tired or have fatigue, the ones that have the fatigue are the never-Trumpers like him, who are out of the loop and are desperately hoping that they'll get back into power. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is John from Wisconsin. How are you this morning?
All right, John. What's up, John, in Wisconsin?
What do you call it? The mainstream media, the more I watch the way they present the so-called news, they look like a bunch of high school kids in the media class. I mean, they're so amateur, especially the local news. There's some big story, and they talk about the way brownies are made. You know what I mean? Or some stupid thing like that.
Yeah.
It's just it's mind-numbing how stupid they've become. They've fallen off the edge, in my opinion.
Yeah, when there's these major stories that they don't want to cover out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it just it shows the corruption, the money they get from the people, you know, under the table, these kickbacks, and they give the money to Somalia or whatever, France, and then it comes back to this organization, and that organization gives it to the CBS News. You know, they started this a few years back. You remember when someone robbed the First National Bank, and it was always it happened at 3:04. He left in a green sedan. He was wearing a black hoodie. Now they just say, oh, they robbed the bank at gunpoint. End of story. You know, I don't know when that all started, but
yeah,
it's been a few years now.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. They don't. I don't even think they know how to report anymore.
I think you're right.
They've just lost the ability to do. I remember there was many years ago. There was a reporter who. Hold on while I answer these lines here. There was a reporter who was. I heard him interviewed. He was promoting a book on NPR. He was interviewed by Diane Rehm on NPR. This was years ago. He was the ABC Moscow correspondent, and he was there during the fall of the Berlin Wall and in the years after when the Soviet Union first fell. And he had written a book, and he was talking about what it was like in Moscow as a reporter for an American network post-Soviet Union. It was interesting. And he talked about Pravda, which you guys know Pravda was the newspaper of the Soviet Union. And the television show, and he said when the Soviet Union fell, they had television news and newspapers, but the reporters didn't know how to write stories or investigate or do anything because they were just given the stories every day by the Communist Party, and they didn't have any journalists in Russia, and it took many years to start to get journalists. Well, that's how the mainstream media are in this country. They've been spoon-fed all the propaganda from the Washington permanent ruling class of establishment politicians, and they don't know how to go out and report like Nick Shirley did.
Well, it's easier for them, too. They just sit there and say, well, this is the story. We'll just regurgitate it onto our next, from news station to news station.
That's right.
We don't go out and actually do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, 100%.
Yeah. All right, well, appreciate the call.
Yep, thanks.
All right, take care. If you'd like to call in, please do. I'm just live on the podcast today. On the radio, they're running a best of today. And so I'm just here live doing the podcast on YouTube. And, of course, this will be uploaded to all the podcast platforms. But on the radio, they're running a best of show today. If you'd like to call in, the number is 888-465-2631. Here's Jennings over on CNN. He made a very good point, and the panel, of course, have a freak out. Listen to this. Oh. It froze. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it to play again. Hold on. I hate when that happens. I go to play a video and it freezes up on me. Hold on. Let me refresh the page. Scott Jennings is amazing when he's on there. I mean, he really gets them. They're really having a lot of freakouts over Scott Jennings lately. This is a good one, too. So usually I would just move on if it was giving me grief. Okay, here it is. Okay. Yeah, this is a good one. They have a really big freak out, so I don't want to miss it. Okay, here it is. I just refreshed the page. This is Scott Jennings on CNN talking about the Somali fraud in Tim Walz's Minnesota.
I admit, though, the catering to the Somali community that goes on by the Democrats in Minnesota is a little weird, is it not? It's
I
a
will
very
tell you, I
small
was in Minnesota
portion
2 weeks ago.
of the
People
population.
in Minnesota,
They got the lieutenant governor up there dressed like the Handmaid's
Listen,
Tale.
listen.
What? I mean, why do they cater?
That's out of line.
Why do they cater? Why do they cater to them?
Scott, hold on a second.
It's such a small portion of the population.
Because
The Democrats put them at the center of
Scott, I do
let's
think
not
that.
go around
Just a
that.
second. Just a second. Because
Why?
I don't think it would be acceptable for you to make a statement like that about Orthodox Jews in Brooklyn.
Right.
Why on earth is it acceptable to make a statement like that about people?
It's a white liberal woman.
Let me tell you, if the lieutenant governor was dressed up like a Hasidic Jew, people would talk about it. Believe me, I promise you.
It would be acceptable for you to make a statement like that about Orthodox Jews in Brooklyn.
Right.
Why on earth is it acceptable to make a statement like that about people?
It's a white liberal woman dressing in
I'm just saying
you're saying Republicans are singling out Somali.
denigrating
The
the
Democrats are the ones who
religious
put them at the
practices
center
of a group
She's
for
not
no
religious.
reason other than the reason.
But it is
I don't care about her. I'm talking.
She's the one who did it.
You're describing the type of dress as the Handmaid's Tale, and you're doing that to denigrate the religion of a group of people.
I'm simply pointing out.
It wouldn't be acceptable if you did it with another group. So don't do it when
I'm
it
simply
comes to
pointing
Muslim
out it's
people.
Democrats.
That's not okay.
It's Democrats who have.
Oh, man. Abby Phillips has been very upset with Scott Jennings a lot lately. Have you noticed that? And things are not going all that well over there. They are very much getting upset. Now, this is one of my favorite, okay? This is the owner of the Leering Center, and he's saying that everything was stolen from they broke in and stole all the records, and this is the owner of the Leering Center, right? The Somali, and people, all these citizen journalists inspired by Nick Shirley. He's wearing these glasses. The glasses I'm wearing readers. I have perfect vision far away, but I'm 54, so you have to wear reading glasses. So I wear these big reading glasses so I can see the computer screens and everything while I'm live streaming. And I buy these by the box from Amazon because, reading glasses, I just leave them I forget them and I leave them all over creation. This guy, see, hear what I mean about investigative journalism? This is the guy from the Leering Center. He's wearing these glasses, and some people watching online, these are glasses that cost between $2,200 and $2,400. I've never heard of this brand, Chrome Hearts unisex eyeglasses. They cost over $2,000 for the frames. The guy that owns the Leering Center. Are you kidding me?
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. Yesterday morning,
Yeah. So, where's he getting the money to buy these glasses that cost between $2,200 and $2,400? You know where he's getting them from? You, me, the taxpayers. It's part of the fraud operation that is going on there. That's it. Right? This is absolutely fantastical. He's not even smart enough to hide it. So here's one, and the Democrat reaction has guilt written all over it. Here's one of the Minnesota white liberals reacting to Nick Shirley's reporting of all the fraud.
So let's be honest about how we really got here. Our president decided he doesn't like the Somali community, and
oh my goodness. See, the race card again, right? And you can see, if you're watching on YouTube and you see the reaction in this liberal woman's face, she's having a hysterical panic attack. She's scared because they got caught. They got caught overseeing the largest financial scandal in the history of the country.
so let's be honest about how we really got here. Our president decided he doesn't like the Somali community and he wants to destroy them. Speaker DeMuth and the GOP caucus sent a YouTuber out to create the narrative they want out there, not the truth, what they want you to believe. The child care system in Minnesota is very complicated, even for those of us who have worked in it for decades. So I can understand that it is easy to believe what you see on social media. But the truth is that Minnesota has guardrails in place to make defrauding the child care system extremely difficult.
Then where are the children? Why are the child care centers without children? And the guy running the Leering Center is wearing glasses that cost over $2,000 for the frames.
Minnesota does investigate suspected fraud in child care and hold people accountable. And they will continue to do so because fraud is never acceptable. But cutting off child care funding to everyone in the state is not the answer, and it's not acceptable.
Well, cut off the fraudulent ones. If President Trump cutting off the funding to the child care centers throughout the entire state, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to get something done, right? You got to stop funding them all. And just on what they're giving to the childless fraudulent ones, they could fund the rest of them, right? That's exactly right. Now, this is crazy. This is a local news affiliate, CBS, in Minnesota. This is the one they claim someone broke in and stole all the records. Stole all the records that would clear their name. Watch this.
Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful.
Now, do you notice what happened here? They say that people were trying to break in to get the records. All the damage into the walls was done from the inside, not the outside. They were trying to break in from the inside. This reminds me of when Mort Downey Jr. said he got attacked by skinheads and he had all this anti-Semitic stuff written on his face, but it was in reverse because he wrote it himself in the mirror. See this? They broke in from the inside.
Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful when trying many other ways. The daycare says it appears the vandals first tried to saw into the door of the Family Dollar next door in the shopping center, but that didn't work.
See, another inside door. All this damage done on the inside of the walls, the inside doors. Whoever did this was already in the facility.
The manager,
Jesse Smollett is running this operation.
Claims,
it's just like him, right?
Those who broke in went straight to the office, stealing information of the many children who were taken care of here.
We are not
Now, here's the guy, Muhammad here, wearing the glasses that cost between $2,200 and $2,400 for the frames.
Taken care of here.
We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said.
Oh, okay. And this hole in the wall, again, done from the inside. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You fucking faggot.
Okay, that's nice. I've been called worse. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, my goodness. I tell you. Yeah. Oh, there he is. The mayor of New York. You guys excited? Oh, yeah. Mamdani. The thing with Mamdani that I've been telling people is this. Let Mamdani be Mamdani. All right? He's going to do himself in by his incompetence and ridiculous ideas. All right? Now, here is CNN again, and they did something they really didn't want to do. They're clearing President Trump's name. Listen to this.
Breaking news, the Wall Street Journal is out with a new report describing the fallout between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The Journal reports that a spa worker from Mar-a-Lago often made house calls to Jeffrey Epstein's home 2 miles away. But those house calls, quote, came to a halt in 2003 after an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. The HR manager faxed Trump a letter suggesting that the club ban Epstein, and Trump agreed, which does mirror the president's own public comments about why he cut ties with Epstein. The White House is responding to the Wall Street Journal, writing, no matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
He cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein long before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. A lot of Democrats didn't, and it is corroborated by the Wall Street Journal tonight.
Wow. So, you know what? Remember what the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to call this kind of story from CNN? CNN just cleared President Trump of any wrongdoing with Epstein, right? What did Rush call these? Remember? A case of accidental journalism. Exactly. But that didn't look accidental. That looked like something that they were required to do. So CNN has taken it upon themselves. Did you see this? Now, so CNN, they're going to respond, right? They're going to do their own investigation. Nick Shirley did what he did. We're going to do our own investigation. Watch this. Here's CNN conducting what they claim to be investigative reporting into the childless child cares of Minnesota.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video.
By the phone. They're calling them on the phone. And by the way, they just coincidentally answered the phones. Give me a break. This is so scripted, but watch.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the Commissioner of Children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen.
By the way, we never heard from the person she called on the phone, right? And so what? Yeah, we got kids here. Oh, okay, that's investigative journalism? We didn't hear from the person on the phone. They didn't go there in person. Excuse me, are you defrauding the government with childless child care centers? No? Okay, thank you. They didn't even do that, right? I'm going to play it again. We don't hear from the person on the phone.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
She never goes back.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen in the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans.
See? And we never heard from the person. We heard the reporters say that they denied it, but we didn't hear the person deny it. And what do you expect them to do? Admit they're committing a crime and confess to some anonymous person who claims to be from CNN on the phone? And I can't believe this story made it to air. That, it's what I was talking with the caller about a few minutes ago. Not one person at CNN said, well, wait a minute. This isn't journalism. We better send somebody there. You're on the air. Oh, no, you're not. This is, I know, exactly. It's journalistic cosplay is what it is. If you're on hold, stand by. We got some panicked people on the line. If you're new to my program, make sure that you subscribe, okay? This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk. Now, this is unrelated to the politics, but I wanted to show everyone on YouTube this. Let me mute it. Have any of you ever been to Disney Hollywood Studios, the theme park formerly known as Disney MGM Studios? There's a live show that they have of Indiana Jones. They had a big accident. I'm going to show this to you. And you know that famous scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, is running from that big round stone and it's going to run him over and he escapes? They have a show that does that, and the big round stone left its track. I've seen this many, many times over the years, and went to the audience, and the audience was saved and rescued by a Disney worker who's a former stuntman. Watch this. Look at that. Boom. He put himself in front of it. The audience didn't even know what happened. Boom. That would have gone right into the audience and bounced right on them. Can you imagine? I mean, I have seen this so many times. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Oh my goodness. A very heroic Disney worker. But let me see if this is another angle, or is this the same? Yeah, here's another angle from a little farther away. That's pretty scary. Have any of you ever been to this show? Look at this. Boom. He saw it, and boom. He got hurt pretty bad, too. Look at that. Not only would that have bounced in the audience, it probably would have continued to bounce, and God knows how many people would have been hurt because it would have bounced on their heads. I mean, people could have been killed by that thing at Disney. My goodness. I have seen that so many times. So this is great. So Fox News went over, we got some Democrat frontrunners for president already. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Watch this.
For the people, Gavin Newsom, Campaign for Democracy, Pete Buttigieg, Win the Era, and AOC, Courage to Change PAC.
Here are the Democrat primary, Democrat presidential hopefuls. Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Mayor Pete, and AOC. They got a great lineup, don't they?
For the people, Gavin Newsom, Campaign for Democracy, Pete Buttigieg, Win the Era, and AOC, Courage to Change PAC. Does that tell you they are all likely to run, Jason?
Yes.
It does, and it just bodes well for Republicans. I don't think if you're on the Republican side of the aisle, there could be a better lineup than those four.
Yeah, exactly. The PACs allow them to fundraise. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Hingle McCringleberry. I'm calling in from Alberta, Canada.
Oh, Canada. What's up? What's up, Canada? There we go.
We're upstairs from you. I know that.
Yes, I am in Florida. You are north of where I am. Yes. What you called me? What's on your mind?
Indeed, you do. I would just like to say, fuck ICE and please.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. Well, just stay in Canada. Class acts in Canada, huh? You know what was amazing to me when the tariff discussions were really first starting in Canada, with Canada, in the United States. They were very upset in Canada over the tariffs on alcohol. And you know what we uncovered from that is they've got a big alcohol problem in Canada. There are a bunch of drunkards up there. Major alcoholism problem going on in Canada. Out of all the tariffs, the ones they griped about the most involved alcohol. Now, we entered a new year. President Trump's first year in office. I mean, look at the economy.
6.18% 30-year fixed mortgage. That's down. 3% shelter inflation. 2.7% overall inflation, down a little bit, but the GDP number there, the last one, 4.3%, booming.
Yeah, gross domestic product. And that shows you that the tariffs are indeed working, that the economy is not only booming, it's in a rally. And it's going to be even bigger and stronger next year, because next year we are going to get the biggest tax cuts. I mean, more people are going to get tax refunds next year than ever. Here's another video. I was looking for this. Here's another angle of this Disney World accident. Let's see how this one looks. Check this one out. Another angle so you can see how big it is. It's a big ball. That's Indiana Jones up there. Boom. And here he is. This guy, he knew what he was doing. See, he's a stunt man, and he knew what was coming. I mean, he got hurt. He got hurt really bad there, didn't he? Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Well, hey, listen. Not everyone at Disney World is some woke coward, right? Oh, man. Now, if you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe, okay? And if you're already subscribed, please like the video. And if you guys could also do me the incredible favor of sharing the video on all your social media and be my marketing team. You know, I don't have any marketing people. I don't have a marketing budget. I don't have a marketing team, but I've got you guys. And the word of mouth from all of you has helped this show grow and grow and grow over the years. And if you could take the link to this program and share it on your social media, whether it's X or Facebook or True Social or wherever, and invite your friends and followers to check me out, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, that Disney worker, he saved a lot of lives. He really did. So the fraud in Minnesota is going to be the defining moment, and the government is on top of this. Look at this. This is Health and Human Services. So these guys here work for Robert Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz. They have these guys on the job. Listen to this.
Hello, I'm HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill. I'm here with Assistant Secretary Alex Adams. Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
Yep. My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children.
That's right.
Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I've just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers.
And this guy on the left, he looks like some guy that comes from the government that you don't mess around with. This guy, he does not play.
This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you. Let me be crystal clear. ACF expects every state to uphold the highest standards of oversight, monitoring, and accountability for federal dollars. Minnesota is no exception.
We're committed to holding bad actors accountable. Regardless of rank or office, anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
There you have it. That's right. Bobby Kennedy's on it. Dr. Oz is on it. Hopefully, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are on it. You never quite know with them. Well, guys, I hope everyone is having a great already first year. This first show of 2026. I went to bed and fell asleep many hours before midnight. I just, I'm not all into the New Year's. To me, it's just a number. But this is going to be a great year. And if you're new, make sure that you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. And those of you that are new, this is without question where MAGA comes to talk. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian, and Happy New Year to all the MAGA family, IB.
Hey, IB. Happy New Year.
There's so much. Thank you. Remember, Trump said what we're seeing is just a small portion of the bigger picture.
That's true.
So since there's not a lot of time for me to express what I have to say in the way I would like to say it, but this shows you that there's no more reason for the IRS. It shows you why we shouldn't pay taxes. Let's not forget about the condoms going to Gaza. Let's not forget about the transgender sex change and wherever they send the money to Venezuela or wherever. Remember all of that?
Yeah.
So my point is, look at how much money on crap throughout the decades, where all of the hard-earned tax dollars are being collected by the actual people working on a daily basis, be it food or gas or cigarettes.
Yep.
All of that money, all of those taxes is being squandered. Why would we then need to borrow money from other countries, creating more of a deficit?
It's true.
Because the point is they want to crush this country.
The other thing, IB, is now we know why all the look at Ilhan Omar's textbook example. She comes into Congress. She's one of the poorest people in Congress. She has a negative net worth, and now she's one of the richest in Congress, and with a net worth estimated at $30 million. And this is how they all get rich.
But in that period of time, I guess even that was like a 10-year stretch. But look how she got rich in such a short period of time. Now, Brian, in his history example, had when they had the school shooting down here, and then you had the news people trying to say Brian might steal some of the equipment. They were trying to lie on Brian and then have a backup witness. This guy is trying to. Then Brian had another.
I appreciate you bringing up all that stuff. Don't give me a break. Oh my goodness, bad analogy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey Brian, good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey JJ, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, and everybody else. Actually that first video, you played a video early on. And that's the guy I was talking about yesterday. That was Mike Urban, the video about Boston, showing all of that insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mike Urban. That's the guy. He, I get stuck in statistics sometimes in my head, but basically I was trying to make a comparison yesterday, and it still holds true today, is that we saw an explosion in the NGOs in like the third and fourth year of Biden. A literal explosion, like a 1,000, just a huge increase. And basically, you've seen the same thing in all the different, in child care, in health care, in assisted living.
Well, remember the $2 billion with a B that they gave to what's her name that ran for governor, the Democrat in Georgia, Stacey. I forgot her last name. Stacey Abrams. Remember they gave her $2 billion. Trump took it back, but just crazy.
It's. I mean, this type of, like I said in the past, a good crime is a crime that you get away with, but
yes,
because everybody's in on it.
Correct.
Okay. They're all. I mean, they're all in on it. They use these Somalis like they're just pawns, and they're. I don't know if you saw that somebody tracked some money where these child care, they were donating to political campaigns in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a continuing, wash of the money. Now, yesterday I sent you an email. I didn't want to bring up the guy's name on the radio. I might have mentioned Mike Irvin yesterday, but I don't like to. I know how sensitive you are, and that.
Well, the reason I do that, where I don't let people mention, because I don't know who you could be telling me about a Nazi for all I know. Not you, but you know what I mean? So I got to have some. Yeah, I've got to have some. I can't just
control. Yeah,
exactly.
I'd be the same way. I'd be 100% the same way. And I sent you an email. But now we're not on the radio. It's not as bad. But this guy, his name is Dave the Lawyer, and I sent it to the RyanCraigShow.com.
Yeah, I get all those emails.
Mm-hmm. He has a video. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the original whistleblower by the name of Scott Stillman, who's testifying in front of the Minnesota Senate. And this is back in May 15th of 2018, and he's going over all this stuff. It's maybe an 18-minute video or so. It's so packed full of information, it'll make you furious, but you should definitely watch that.
Okay.
And he talks about one lady, where, it's just wash, rinse, repeat. She had 50 different shell companies. 50 different shell companies using her family, just continuous fraud. It's like the job of these people it's like their freaking, job.
And this is only one, and this massive fraud operation is only one. I mean, there's fraud in every aspect. So, I wonder, I mentioned this to a caller earlier, out of every dollar that the government takes in from tax money, how much of it goes to fraud and waste? Out of every dollar.
Good Lord. I mean, I'm a numbers guy, and I look at all this stuff, and I'm saying minimum. I would say minimum 50%.
Minimum, yeah. Minimum.
I'd say minimum 50%. I mean, up in
I think it's much
Minnesota,
higher, though.
Their numbers are the numbers in Minnesota are in the 80-90 percentile.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is basically the Democrat Party model. Fraud is the oil that keeps their engine. That's what keeps them going.
It's an organized. They're the RICO people. They charge Trump and his people in Georgia and Fulton County with RICO. They're the RICO.
100%. I mean, the Democrat Party model. Notice I said Democrat, not Democratic. Democrat Party.
You heard Ray's call yesterday.
The one gentleman. That was
Ray from Sunrise.
Good guy. Anyway, their model is to cause pain, treat it with money, steal that money, blame conservatives and anybody else they can, increase the pain, increase the money.
And if you catch them with the money in their hand, you're a white supremacist racist.
You're a racist.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing I love about the youth now, normal, truth, reality is cool again. These people, the youth, they're seeing themselves.
That's right.
All of them on social media, and they know they're not alone, and they know they're not crazy. They know these false narratives of, the racism fraud narrative, the white supremacy fraud narrative,
yes.
All these NGOs, child care, health care, the assisted living, the media fraud, all these people are lying, and truthful people living in reality are just sick of living in this friggin' soap opera circus.
Yep.
And they've just had enough. And they're like, the one lady that you show, the young girl talking about California and raising, minimum wage. I mean, that's an economics 101 argument, but people don't know anything about economics.
And then you find out really what he did was Gavin Newsom found a way to put his buddy, his competition out of business so his buddy could have free reign.
Oh, my God. I did not see that. That's why I love these young kids all over the place. They focus in. They're like the guy hitting the bullseye on the dartboard.
Yeah.
That is so fraudulent. They let they make up this friggin' thing if it's a pound or a half a pound of bread or whatever, and he lets his friend who he went to high school with get away with it. It's like the chief of police getting off of a DUI because the sergeant pulled him over.
That's exactly
right. And then the sergeant gets a promotion.
Yeah.
It's just so it's so sick, Brian. I'm just hoping for.
Well,
listen,
that's why they start. See, that's why they started going after Trump when they first realized he was a viable candidate in the first campaign. Because of this, because by the time in the past, the other presidents, by the time they get to the presidency, they've already been corrupted by all of this, so they have them under control, right?
Yep.
And they just don't have. They didn't have that with Trump, and it scared them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because anybody that comes from the outside looks around and they're like that girl in the video.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what the hell is that? What? And Trump is no nonsense. He's a good man. He's a common sense man. He learned a lot. I mean, in business, you learn a lot from doing the business.
Yes.
You learn a lot from, making mistakes and so forth. But the thing about Donald Trump is he learns from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got it so figured out. He's so dialed in now. And, like yesterday, we were talking about, is it natural? Like Steve asked me the question, is it planned or is it natural? And I believe 100. He said I was an idealist, which is true. I'm also a realist.
Mm-hmm.
I can be optimistic, sort of. I'm optimistic, but then I'm also in deep thought. I'm somewhat of a pessimist and a realist. I mean, how can you not be when you see all this crazy insanity? Fraud is everywhere. But I do believe that as far as it being planned by Donald Trump, like they're handed it depends on your definition of really planned.
Yes.
But to me, it's more of a natural. It's planned in a providential way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly believe Trump is providential. I believe the assassination attempt. I mean, I just see God everywhere in this, and it takes time.
No doubt.
If he made it, if he made it happen, if it happened easy, it's got to be painful. In the pain, people remember.
Well, this
and
is
now,
what we're going through now. This is swamp draining right now. President Trump has cut off so much of their money. This cutting off of all child care in Minnesota. That's a pretty bold move. In the wintertime,
Yep. It's a bold move. And that's what we, listen, Trump, I mean, as far as the plan goes, too, because, I thought about this after, Steve, after I got on the phone, and I'm like, I think it's natural. But the planning is in the fact that Trump started all this off. Trump lit the candle by saying fake news.
Yeah.
He broke the seal by saying fake news, by showing people how they were lying.
Yes.
And then it's just been a continuance of that. Every day we're finding out more and more. Like we open one door and there's 10 more.
That's right.
The assisted living fraud. They got Mike Urban. I saw some stuff that he had done about assisted living, or somebody else actually. It's one person leads to another.
But see, I'm really wondering if Trump's going to fire Pam Bondi and replace her, hopefully with Judge Deneen, because she hasn't arrested. It's been a year. She hasn't arrested anybody.
I would love to see Judge Deneen just for the narrative. I mean, here's the thing. I look at this with very pragmatic, very realistic eyes. I mean, I look at the Department of Justice as the absolute worst, not run as far as Pam Bondi goes, but the worst battlefield environment for any Trump, anybody that he puts in there, because it is so full of toxic waste.
Well, I can get, okay, a lot of people said, and I can get this, when it came to the lawfare people, they're afraid because these are deep state crazy people, Comey and the rest. I can get that on a certain level, but then don't take the job if you're a coward. But Minnesota, these are much lower level. These aren't the D.C. insiders, right? The Tim Walz and the rest. There's no reason not to go and make some arrest.
Well, the Somalis aren't protected. I mean, here's the thing, like with the pipe bomber. The pipe bomber was not a protected class. He was one of the idiots that they used.
Yes.
Same thing with the Somalis. Now, the language, I mean, I somewhat agree with your, the China mafia, the AP, your discussion about that. I understand the logic there. And I just don't think they won't do a mass arrest. But we also have these people out here. I mean, the guy yesterday, we have plenty of them speaking English. Mm-hmm. And I hope a lot of them try to use that tactic.
Oh no, there'll be no more. They won't. None of them arrested will speak English. I promise you.
Well, we'll get them. Here's the thing, and great. Well, then how the hell did you then you didn't understand anything about all the visa stuff. Thank you. Goodbye. You're going back to Somalia. So we're going to get them one way or the other. And I don't care how we get them out.
But we need to arrest some of these Democrats, some of these high-profile Democrats, like Tim Walz.
I think some of these, Brian, listen, I think some of these people, it depends. There's always one. You didn't think the mob would roll. You didn't think they would roll on each other, but they did. So I think, we'll get somebody eventually, hopefully. But
soon.
The whole thing for me is the biggest narrative, the biggest thing to really, for me, is that we keep this truth train going. And the way that we do that is with elections.
Well, we're talking about somebody who flips, and I'll tell you, when Caroline Levitt said denaturalization, the president's done it before, he'll do it. When these Somalians, the guy with the $2,400 glasses from the Leering Center, when he and his family are going to lose their citizenship and be flown back to Somalia, people like that will start talking.
Now, how many people, Brian? I was interested when you were saying that about the glasses. Now, would you have known that if you hadn't got the glasses that you had?
No.
So there's a lot of people. They have no idea because you have to have a job. The thing about these guys is 80% of them are on benefits, and
well, it doesn't even occur to the guy. It doesn't even occur to the guy. Well, wait a minute. I better take off these $2,400 eyeglass frames I'm wearing because I'm going. Didn't even occur to him. I'd like to see what car he left in.
Yeah, that's just these. The self-awareness factor is basically a zero. But other people watching that video wouldn't have any idea. But I think that word, hopefully, that word will spread because it just adds more. It's like more insult. So you're wearing those. Mm-hmm. You're stealing money out of the mouth of
Well,
children.
Listen, I gotta run, but you made some good points. We'll talk again.
All right, buddy.
All right, take care. All right, now again, if you're new to my program, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for the Brian Craig Show. I'll pop up. If you want to catch the show live when I'm taking live calls and see the video form of the podcast, go to YouTube and search Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you next time. Take care.